Welcome back to the Thursday Walkthrough. Martin O'Donnell here with Coach Lovie Smith. And Coach, coming off of last week's game, one person that we saw for the first time this year was James Crawford. And you mentioned earlier this week that James kind of made his presence felt during the game. What does he bring as a defensive end that's different than some of the other guys on the roster right now, and kind of what separates him a little bit?
There's a few things that separate him. First off, he probably didn't get the amount of credit he deserves for the type of athlete he is. Came here as a defensive back and got a little bigger, became a linebacker, and of course now has that same type of speed, excellent speed and quickness, a non-stop motor. He has a knack for making plays, and when you miss 3 games like he did and you couldn't help your team win, you were really anxious to play. He prepared awful well last week, and we got great production from him.
Well, another player that you mentioned earlier this week, and a player who missed the first half was Stanley Green. Yes. And how important is it to see a guy like that come back from a little bit of adversity, having the targeting penalty the week prior, but come back and really play at a level that they're capable of?
It's very exciting to see, and Stanley has gone through a lot, of not being able to start the season, off with his team, having to set the first, the opening half of the season, and even move back into a backup role, but has been ready. And normally if you deserve to play, you'll get another opportunity too. And he knew this game that he couldn't play until the second half, but he came in and made his presence known. The position, free safety position, was called upon to make a lot of tackles, and he made every one. Well,
and we've seen it a couple games this year, but it's certainly something that's always a topic in college football with the rules and being what they are right now. But targeting, it's been called in our past several games, some on us, some on the opponents, but is that the kind of penalty where you could have an inadvertent targeting, or because clearly they're trying to get the malicious hits out of the game of football, which everybody's in agreement we need to get rid of them, but it's a really fine line there. I mean, is there any way to possibly differentiate, or what are your thoughts?
Well, Warren, I think we need to look into it. As you said, some of the hits that we're trying to eliminate from the game, targeting a defenseless player, and I think most defensive guys have lowered their target. But I think we have to use some common sense a little bit too when the target is so low. And I'm talking about the person you're trying to tackle. Take, for instance, Bennett Williams the other night. He was trying to lead with his shoulder pads. And when the pass catcher is so low, and it's just hard to really, how low can you eventually go? So I don't think his hit was a malicious one at all, and we do need to look at that a little bit.
Well, this week playing the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Iowa's certainly a team that has an identity. I mean, you know what you're going to get with Iowa football in terms of stout defense, good offensive line, running the ball. What's the identity that you want Illinois football to have going forward, and where do you feel like you are in terms of getting the program there?
What we would like to be, just talking offensively, we want to have balance. But to me, when you say balance, you want to be able to run the football because you want to run the ball, not just in critical situations where you have to. And Iowa has a commitment to the run. That's how they've been for years and years. So we want to do that. But I think we want to open up even a little bit more offensively and be able to pass the ball because we want to also. We talk about balance. On our team right now, one of our stronger positions is wide receiver. So we need to be able to get the ball to him. And defensively for Iowa, they played the same brand of football forever. And you expect disciplined football, playing hard every down. That's what you get from them. And of course with us, we want to be able to, want people to describe us the same way, but with an emphasis on taking the ball away.
Well, and making a change at quarterback this week, so Jeff George Jr. going to have the start. In terms of his ability last year, his first start playing at Michigan. So isn't it helpful having a backup quarterback that's been thrust into some of those adverse situations, and certainly Kinnick Stadium, not an easy place to play?
Absolutely, and that should help him. But knowing Jeff George, so he's that type of guy. He's not too high, not too low. He's a confident player. He has confidence in his arm. And, we have different body types at the quarterback position, but I think we all would agree that, You know, Jeff's the best passer of the group, and we do need to be able to open the passing game up a little bit. But it's not like we're going to all of a sudden start throwing the ball 90% of the time. We want to still have that same balance.
Sure. Well, no, certainly looking forward to the game this week. And you know, before we let you go, we're going to have to deviate on topic a little bit. Something that some people might not know is you're a fan of Game of Thrones.
Yes, I am. I was not until this summer, and a few of my kids introduced my wife and I to it. So we had a lot of marathon sessions catching up with the seasons.
Okay, so we're going to go lightning round on some this versus that sort of stuff. Fire-breathing dragon or ice dragon?
Fire-breathing for sure. Trying to figure out how you can get a fire-breathing one when someone has died, though, in the cold, but still, that's another subject.
Yeah, no, it's kind of wild. So you have the Hound versus the Mountain, the two brothers. Who you got in the fight?
Yeah, you know, you love the underdog, so I go with the Hound.
That's good. So Brienne of Tarth and Tormund Giantsbane, the guy with the red beard, red hair. I mean, that's the romance that America deserves, right? Right?
Well, yes, I guess so. You would say that. There's a lot of characters in Game of Thrones, though, and you could probably pardon up a few, but that would be one that would be interesting.
Well, in a hypothetical situation, if they were to get together, would you immediately offer their offspring, you take a commitment from them, sight unseen?
Probably would.
There's some good genes there.
There's some good genes there, and you would like that combination, absolutely.
Now, would you think offensive lineman, 3 technique? You probably wanted to play defense, wouldn't you?
Well, if you can play defense like that, you would look at him there first, but the odds are he would be able to do either.
Well, and then, so your favorite battle scene that's taken place in Game of Thrones so far, I'll make it multiple choice.
Okay.
Okay, so you have the Battle of the Bastards, which is outside the walls of Winterfell at the end of season 6-ish. You have Blackwater, which happened outside King's Landing, where Tyrion kind of got involved there. And then you also have the Loot Train attack, which the Dragons got involved in this past season.
Well,
which was your favorite?
Well, that's easy. To me, whenever the Dragons are involved, you know, I'm trying to keep the Dragons' names together. I'm that much into the Dragons. So anything with the Dragons involved, I think adds a different layer.
Okay, so you're going Loot Train attack.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good one. Favorite character? Do you have a favorite character in the show?
I have favorite characters in the show. So it would be to name one would be like me saying, "Hey, what's our favorite football player on our team?" I have a lot of them.
A lot of them. All right. Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Thanks for stopping by the Thursday Walkthrough.
Looking for a card that gives you more? Illini Visa Rewards Card. Earn points every day to fly any airline, anytime, no blackout dates. The Illini Visa Rewards Card. Available only through U of I Community Credit Union.